We are live.
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at my
That's
laptop,
right. I got
trying to
recording.
figure out
That's
how to
the
do
least I
this.
can do. That's a good deed.
Uh,
I am old dude, and he is.
Make sure you organize your stream on son. Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, now my laptop's not even responding. I don't know what's going on here.
I'm going to apologize ahead of time. I am in the dining room, being the only one here with the new puppy and older chihuahuas. I will probably have to break up little squabbles from time to time. Like I said, I apologize ahead of time, but it won't take me long. Chances are I can get the puppy to come over here and lay beside me and go to sleep. If I hope, but we'll see. And I did watch the last Dunkin' Egg. Finally,
Oh, good.
took me a while.
Power mode.
I liked it, but uh, I don't want to spoil anything.
You don't want to spoil anything. Okay.
Well, I mean, okay, if you haven't watched you're up to date on your Night of Seven Kingdoms, Dunkin' Egg. Uh, please come back in a minute or two, whatever. We only got one person on here, so I think it's probably King Christopher. I would have preferred a longer fight sequence.
So, okay. I mean,
I like the backstory a little bit. It's not exactly kind of how it happened in the book.
right. Yeah, I didn't like that change.
Well, I mean, I know they were milking it for time and stretching it out and everything.
Well, I don't like
But
the change that it's supposed to be basically that he spots him and realizes how big and strong he is and thinks he'd make a good he'd be a good warrior in the future and that he's worth training, right? That's
right, I do not like how they portrayed Sir Arlen Pintree.
right, right. Like the idea that Dunk just sort of, and they're trying to make it more of a parallel to the way Egg joined him, and that's why they did that. I think that's my theory on what's going on there is that they're trying to strengthen the parallel between uh,
Well,
Egg
they're
his
setting it up as Dunk Dunk's feelings toward Sir Arlen is why he thinks so highly of him, even though he might not be worthy um, of that recognition, that honor of being a true knight. I don't know. I just think it's a little. I mean, he's not a real person, so he can't really get mad. But I don't think that is a accurate portrayal of George's Sir Arlen the Penny Tree. It's definitely not how I perceive the character to be. That has nothing to do with stretching the time out or anything. That is it's a writer's choice, the producer's choice to portray him that way. Um, so, but like I said, I would prefer the fight scene. I know that it's cheaper to go to the backstory than stretch the fight scene out. But I do think it should have been stretched out a little bit longer than that. When they did the jousting, the opening ceremonies, and all that stuff at the beginning of the season, I was like, yeah, this 7-on-7 is going to be freaking awesome. All the stuff that happens, all the stuff that we don't see happen. We get to see um, the two cousins fighting, the red apple and the green. Um, to see how well the squire newly knighted green apple was against the cousin. I think that would have been worthy, even if it's just happening in the background. You get to see a lot more of it. I know there's some scenes where you see like the mace to the back of the helmet, I believe. I have to go back and rewatch it. But I was trying to pay attention, but I prefer the fight scene to be stretched out a little bit more. But I mean, it is what it is. It's still a good episode. I mean, I got no problem with it. The rocky swelling of the face and the makeup of Dunk, I thought was a little over the top. You kind of took away from the scenes that he was in after he took his helm off. I was just kept thinking of Rocky Balboa yelling Adrian. So I don't know. I'm nitpicking. It was a good episode. It's still a good season. It's still a good show. What's that?
Oh no. Hospital room.
Oh no.
Pericarditis. What's that? I don't know what that is. What is pericarditis? Inflammation of the membrane surrounding the heart.
Oh.
Causing sharp chest pain.
All right, hold on. I gotta go break up I know it's about to be a dog fight.
That sounds not good. Difficulty breathing. Oh wow, that's scary. Well, I'm glad that's not some of the alternatives with similar symptoms. That's for sure. Good distraction for me tonight. All right, good. All right. Anyway,
just a reminder.
We wanted to talk about Summer Hall.
This is Royce. She is named after House Royce, and she's a pain in the butt. Lay down.
So I guess we're gonna spoil. So I guess we're gonna spoil Summer Hall if we're gonna talk about this, because we're gonna incorporate Dexter.
Yeah, I haven't seen that though, but you can go ahead and talk about it. I've got the gist of it through Chris.
You're sitting there going, no, we don't know that. We don't know. and Dexter's like we do know George, because George told us.
As I hinted the other day, I know I'm not the only one to suggest that Cold Hands is dumb.
And that's out there now, and people
Right.
responding to this, saying, that reopens the possibility.
I remember talking about it when Twitter was Twitter. If I'm not mistaken, it was shot down pretty quick.
I would have dismissed that myself.
Right.
Like, I was convinced that the dream that he has of them basically being buried in sand, I thought that the implication was that it was a prophetic dream of how they're going to die, which was that there'd be like sand traps above Summer Hall to drown out the fires or something, right?
Okay. I can see that, like the Maesters.
That was how I theorized that they died. Like the Duncan Egg died in the sand from at Summer Hall, right? Is there a time when I need to go to search voice there. Is there a time when in the main series when they say Summer Hall associated with Dunk, or is that associated with Egg, or is that good? What happened to him in Summer Hall? I thought there was a line like that.
That I don't remember.
Probably.
I forget who I was talking to, but I know basically what it was is if Dunk saved, I forget Rhaegar's mother's name, but her, and then Rhaegar's born under a falling star or something like that. Dunk had to leave Summer Hall to save them.
So my working theory is that Rhaella is actually Septa Mortain. So that's my current working theory on Septa Mortain, is that she's Rhaella. Because when you say Rhaegar's mother, I think that's Rhaella you're talking about. So I used to think that was a Chardane, right?
Right.
And then maybe Quaithe was Rhaella or something. So obviously we're firm believers in Lemon Gate, to put it mildly, right?
Yeah.
So the implication is that she can't actually have died giving birth to Dany if you're a believer in Lemon Gate, which then sort of, beggars the question of where is what happened to Rhaella if she didn't die giving birth to Dany, right?
Right.
And what would be a big reveal with Septa Mortain? Well, of course, I thought originally, she must be a Chardane, right? I bought into the Chardane theory. Actually, don't think that's right. I think that because of the textual clues pointing to Chardane as the shadow twice, right? And Quaithe specifically being told, we're specifically told that Quaithe has unusual eyes. They're basically shining eyes of unspecified color. They're actually described as wet and shiny. So it specifically highlights that she has unusual wet and shiny eyes in the text, and because it says eyes wet and shiny, right? So she specifically has unusual smiling eyes of unspecified color, observed by someone whose eye color is exactly the same as Chardane's, right? And so okay, you've got these textual, these twice a Chardane comes up in Kat's thoughts. Both times, John's mother is tied to the shadow or the shadowy secret in them, right? And so I'm like, okay, no. George definitely is telling us there that the person with the wet and shiny eyes of unspecified color, observed by the person whose eye color is exactly a Chardane's, like that's like as close as you're ever going to get to George saying this is a Chardane, right? So I'm like, okay, well then, but there has to be a big reveal with Septim Ordain because, and we're not told her eye color. She's on a ship where everybody's dyeing their hair to avoid being detected as Targaryens, right?
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, she has to hide too. Okay, so if it has to be a reveal that matters to us, doesn't she have to be someone like Rhaella, right? And then the parallels between Rhaella and Bonifer Hasty become interesting because you're looking at Bonifer Hasty having turned. Evening, guys. This is Kirsty. Good to have you here, Kirsty. So then the idea that Bonifer Hasty turns to become religious after he can't have Rhaella, and then, well, wouldn't it be a nice parallel if Rhaella becomes a fake septa, kind of echoing Bonifer's turn to religion when he can't have Rhaella anymore, right? And so Septim Ordain being Rhaella makes. Sorry, you brought up Rhaella, that set me down this wrong rabbit hole from where we were even supposed to be going, and I apologize.
It's all right. That's what Theory Day is for.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to be doing, I guess.
How about that?
The thoughts, the shiny eyes could be amethyst gemstones. So wait. You're thinking that Quaithe is kind of like what's the name of the guy who fights with the gemstones in his eyes? What's the name of the warrior with the gemstone eyes?
Is it Simon or something? Simon or
Simeon Star Eyes.
Simeon, that's it.
Simeon Star Eyes. Okay, that's interesting.
Yes, I'm holding my dog.
And it could be a parallel towards. It could be a deliberate parallel towards the others, and an indication that Quaithe is somehow associated with the others or something too. That's where we want to go down the rabbit hole, says Kirsty. Yeah, exactly. All right, that's what you said. That's like, we go chase it around the
theory that those that have stones in their eyes, whether they're blue sapphires or obsidian dragon glass, can still use those eyes to see, just not in the way that normal people see. So even if they had amethyst or some other kind of stone, there you go. Doesn't mean they're blind.
All right. Should we look at every reference to Summerhall in the main series, because I pulled it up?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm fine with that. Summerhall's on topic right now.
All right. Well, the first mention in the main series is Tyrion dismissing the idea that Duran Martell would need to cross the Reach, that he would turn east near Summerhall, come up the King's Road.
Mm-hmm.
Did we learn nothing from Summerhall? He's always on the grid. He is not in his right mind, I fear. This talk of the stone dragon, madness, I tell you, sheer madness. What madness is this? Did we learn nothing from Arian Brightfire, from the Nine Mages, from the Alchemists? Did we learn nothing from Summerhall? No good has ever come from these dreams of dragons. I told Axel as much. My way was better, sure. Stannis gave me a seal. He gave me leave to rule. The hand speaks with the king's voice. Not in this. right. All right, where were we? Davos 4. Do smugglers have another name for it? I made him hand, and he would have sold my rights for a bowl of peace porridge. He would even have given them Shireen, mine only child. He would have wed to a bastard born of incest. The king's voice was thick with anger. My brother had a gift for inspiring loyalty, even in his foes. At Summerhall, he won 3 battles in a single day. Okay.
3 battles in a
3
single
battles
day.
at Summerhall. Huh. Wet eyes in Fey mythology tie into the Fey ointment that gives you the gift of sight, or allows you to see the supernatural, Fey realm, etc. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay. Well, I mean, that goes into what I was saying, that if they use blue sapphires, dragon glass, any other type of gems, they're going to be shiny. So, I mean, using them magically to see in ways that the average person in Westeros or in Essos, anywhere in the Planetos would be able to. So it would go into green seers or green seer adjacent.
Bobby B lives. All right. Anyway, sorry.
That's the only voice I can do from, or even come close to sounding cool from Game of Thrones. I have the wig and the costume in there somewhere. I have no idea where it is. One day I might break it back out for one of these theory hours.
All right. He was born in grief, my queen, and that shadow hung over him all his days. Viserys had spoken of Rhaegar's birth only once. Perhaps the tale saddened him too much. It was the shadow of Summerhall that haunted him, was it not? Yes, and yet Summerhall was the place the prince loved best. He would go there from time to time, with only his heart for company. Even the knights of the Kingsguard did not attend him there. He liked to sleep in the ruined hall, beneath the moon and stars. Whenever he came back, he would bring a song. You heard him play his high harp with the silver strings and sing of twilights and tears and the death of kings. You could not but feel that he was singing of himself and those he loved. Okay, what if the usurper, did he play that songs as well? Yeah, right. Anyway. I love your
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that's a kind of an interesting one, right? And that's one that's really about that. Well, it's also the one that hints at the ghost of Highheart is the one that's actually giving him his prophecies rather than something he found in his scrolls, right? That
Right.
And the fact that she feels guilty when she sees Arya and probably thinks Arya is basically Lyanna sent to haunt her, right? The ghost see the ghost essentially.
Well, I mean, you got Rhaegar living just like Dunk underneath the stars at Summerhall, being able to look up instead of looking up at a pavilion. Voice.
Okay, speaking of the ghost, that's the next reference. You are cruel to come to my hill. Cruel. I gorged on grief at Summerhall. I need none of yours. Be gone from here, dark heart. Be gone. Speaking of how she. Okay, interesting. So so we find out Summerhall is this shadow of Summerhall that haunted him is the problem, right? It's about his birth, Rhaegar's birth only once, right?
Right.
And immediately we find out that Rhaegar liked Summerhall and went there and then got songs about the deaths of kings. And if you look at the prophecies, the ghosts, they're almost always associated with the deaths of kings, right? And then and the very next reference to Summerhall is the ghost herself telling you that I gorged on grief at Summerhall. So yeah, that really does nicely tie that together. All right, then we've got another Davos chapter, or next Davos chapter, in fact. When he first come here to call his banners, Lord Grandison, Cafferson, and Fell planned to join their strength at Summerhall and march on Storm's End. But he learned their plans from an informer and rode at once with all his knights and squires. As the players came up on Summerhall one by one, he defeated each of them in turn before they could join up with the others. He slew Lord Fell in single combat and captured his son Silverax. So we're back to the 3 battles in a single day.
Right.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Then we go to Feast, and it's pretty far into Feast. It's Sam 4.
Okay.
Oh, okay. This is Aemon talking about Summerhall. No one ever looked for a girl, he said. It was a prince that was promised, not a princess. Rhaegar, I thought. The smoke was from the fire that devoured Summerhall on the day of his birth, the salt from the tears shed for those who died. He shared my belief when he was young, but later he became persuaded that it was his own son who fulfilled the prophecy. For a comet had been seen above King's Landing on the night Aegon was conceived. Rhaegar was certain the bleeding star had to be a comet. What fools we were, who thought ourselves so wise. The error crept in from the translation. Dragons are neither male nor female. Barth saw the truth of that, but now one and now the other, as changeable as flame. The language misled us all for 1,000 years. Daenerys is the one born amidst salt and smoke. The dragons prove it. Just talking to her seemed to make him stronger. I must go to her. I must. Would that I was even 10 years younger. All right.
I don't think that would have helped either.
Is that?
Even 10 years younger, I still think leaving the wall, leaving the source of what's keeping him going, still would have ended probably the same way.
Joyce etymology, says Kirsty. Rejoice originates from Middle English, derived from Old French, rejoice. Oh, wow, that does sound almost like Rhaegar, doesn't it? Ultimately, it traces back to Latin gardere, meaning to be glad. First appeared in English. Early 14th century. To possess or enjoy the possession of, to gladden or rejoice. Huh. Okay. Semantic evolution. Enjoy the possession of something since the 16th century. Full of joy, rejoice in, be glad about or delighted in. Related words. Anyway. All right. So the rejoice statement ties to the prophecy, and I think Dunk might have gone into Rhaegar because it plays into the Tower of Joy. Oh, Tower of Joy versus Rhaegar versus Rejoice. Oh, okay. I was like, why are we tying Rhaegar to? I was like, why are we tying Rhaegar to Joy? But of course, it's the Tower of Joy. Okay. All right.
Yeah, that went over my head.
What became of her? Summerhall. The word was fraught with doom. Wait, who are they talking about? Who are they talking about? I got to pull that one up. Who is it that they just say? Because that was where I was thinking it might have been Dunk or Egg, but it's not.
Who's saying this?
What became of her? It's Danny's 4th chapter, and rejoice also means to possess. Right. To say to take joy in possessing originally, right? Okay. What became of her is the question. I was thinking it might have been Dunk or Egg with the Summerhall. The word was fraught with doom. This is what I wanted to find. This is why I originally wanted to search, because I was thinking that it might have been associated with Dunk or Egg, because I knew it was Summerhall. What became of Summerhall? But it's what became of her. So who were they talking about? Who were they talking about? She came to court with Jenny of Oldstones, a stunted thing, grotesque to look upon. A dwarf, most people said, though dear to Lady Jenny, who always claimed that she was one of the children of the forest. What became of her? Summerhall. Okay. So they're asking about the ghosts again. So
Right.
Okay. So Summerhall goes 3 battles, and then Rhaegar's birth, and Viserys wouldn't talk about it. Then it's the ghost saying, I got enough grief from Summerhall when she sees Arya and thinks she looks like Lyanna, and right, she's seen the ghost of Lyanna basically, and so she's terrified of Arya because she looks like the ghost of Lyanna, right?
Okay. Does she look like Lyanna?
Sorry. Hey,
she look like Lyanna, or does she look like Jenny?
Son is 6, so I get to watch live. Oh no, she's I'm sure it's. I'm sure it's. The implication is that the ghost feels guilty for the death of Lyanna Stark, right?
Right.
I think that's the implication. That's certainly that's gray areas, and I think that's like as I've said multiple times. That's the best video that anyone has put out on YouTube about Asylum Waste and Fire, as far as I'm concerned. The gray area video that says, "Hey, this is why she's so terrified of her."
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And good to have you here, Valakar. It's great.
Yeah,
Sorry that your son is sick, but it's great to see you.
Valakar is the OG of fans as far as this channel goes. So we appreciate, without a doubt.
He's like an old new dude, triplet Targaryen fan before we even started reading through the books.
Before the second person ever found out about us, it was Valakar was the first.
He may have been a fan before Christopher became a fan. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
I mean, I realized Christopher was a fan of you personally before Valakar was. I get that.
Yeah, I try to be a pretty cool dad.
But he may not have been a fan of triplet Targaryens as early as Valakar. I'm not sure.
Well, I definitely appreciate it. I mean, I always said in the videos, I don't care if you like, I don't care if you subscribe, just leave a comment. And it's still, my daughter had to reset everything on my phone and tablet just to get YouTube to work the other day. Ever since I got that new tablet, I've had nothing but problems with as far as YouTube goes. So I'm doing my best trying to stay on top of comments, but it doesn't let me do it as often as it should be every time somebody, because before, the second the Valakar left a comment or you left a comment, it would flash and show me. So all I had to do was touch the screen to go to that comment so I could like it and make a comment on the comment now. And then after that, I quit doing that. I went to this analysis page, which showed me what's tracking, all that kind of stuff. I don't pay any attention to any of that stuff. That just at the bottom of it, it gave me community, go to the community, and then it would give me comments. And then I could go to comments and then do it that way, but it wasn't automatic. When they made the comment, I had to go to it every day, every other day, and then that quit. I go to that page now, and it won't let me go to comments. I have to go in a completely different way to try to get to my comments. To like the comment and leave a comment is driving me crazy, but that's neither here nor there. Sorry.
That's right.
I'm frustrated with it, it surfaces.
And Valakar says, big old new dude, Richard Guy. Won't brag on number one, but first, maybe.
We appreciate it.
Robert would have done it in 10. Asher heard Lord Fell boasting. His grandson had been slain by Robert at Summerhall. Okay, so back to 3 battles in a single day. And then the very last one is the Kingbreaker. So this is going to be Barristan, right? Better for Daenerys and for Westeros. Daenerys Targaryen loved her captain, but that was the girl in her, not the queen. Prince Rhaegar loved his lady Lyanna, and thousands died for it. And we've mentioned before that there's ties between Rhaegar and Lyanna and Dany and Dario, right?
Right.
Don't sweat it, dude. I do get worried if I don't see you guys, though. Valakar number 1, says Kirsty. Prince Rhaegar loved his lady Lyanna, and thousands died for it. Daemon Blackfyre loved the first Daenerys and rose in rebellion when denied her. That's an interesting theory about how that happened. Okay. Bittersteel and Bloodraven both loved Shiera Seastar, and the Seven Kingdoms bled. The Prince of Dragonflies loved Jenny of Oldstone so much he cast aside a crown, and Westeros paid the bride price in corpses. All 3 of the sons of the 5th Aegon had wed for love in defiance of their father's wishes. And because that unlikely monarch had himself followed his heart when he chose his queen, he allowed his sons to have their way, making bitter enemies where he might have had fast friends. Treason and turmoil followed as night follows day, ending at Summerhall in sorcery, fire, and grief. So that's the one reference that is telling you it's about Egg.
There you
go. And so the point of Summerhall, by the way, is that an Egg dying there, which I guess maybe Dunk did, but Egg probably did, based upon Dexter's spoiler.
Yeah, you would think he was full himself versus or his character versus Dunk, but yeah. Well, I mean, the theory is
when
And
say
this is what we were talking about originally a year or two ago. I can't remember. I can't remember who he was even talking to, but then people jumped in and were like, "No, that's no, you're crazy." Was that the realm needed Dunk's hand and foot
what?
more than they needed Baylor Breakspear. And the theory is the hand is holding Rhaegar's mother, and the foot is to kick open the door to get them out of Summerhall so she can give birth to Rhaegar.
Yeah, that his foot winds up saving Rhaegar, and that's how
Exactly. And
that's how we
if
get
he's
the
out, if he's
plus
out,
down.
granted, he would probably want to go back in to try to save Egg, but Egg probably ordered him to save her. And then if it's in complete flames, the dragon fire is spread. I mean, this is just an inferno. He would not be able to go back in. And with Summerhall, or with the Ghost of Highheart having ties to the Children of the Forest, either they took him north, or his belief that he failed his king and dishonored himself, he went north on his own. Either way, going north would put him in contact with Bloodraven, and how and why that he may be cold hands. The thing that stood out to me, like I said, it was a year or two ago, I can't remember, but was the strength that he had to raise Sam up on the back of the great elk. And then you look for characters that are that strong, and we know that, like with the reduced skeletal form of Beric Dondarrion still holding the same amount of strength he had, if not even more, as a fire white. You can see that a ice white or a fire white, whichever it is, that cold hands would be ice white, I'm assuming, or fire white. They could be possibly stronger than they were in real life, but to be able to lift Sam, Beric Dondarrion couldn't have done that. I doubt that very seriously. And I doubt that even the Hound would have been able to get Sam up on the back of that great elk. So look for characters that are that strong in our story and in the past. In the past, especially when you're talking about cold hands, Dunk fits the bill 100% as far as size and strength.
But the whites aren't. But the whites are kind of supernaturally strong.
Right, right.
Just because Beric isn't, he's not. He's not. I mean, my point is, Cold Hands is more like an ice magic white and less like a fire magic white, right? So that could just be a sign of just how strong the ice whites are, rather than
Well, stop and look at Small Paul when he goes up against Sam, and Sam is able to take him down to the ground.
Yeah. It's more like I kind of agree with you. It's more like they are the strength of the people at their strongest, rather than that they're supernaturally stronger than a human is. I tend to agree with you there.
Right, man. They might even be just a notch above normal, their peak or whatever person they take. But I mean, I don't know the size that they say Sam is in the books or whatever. But I mean, the size of the great elk alone, and being able to pick Sam up and put him on there, I mean, you have to look for a strong character, and Dunk fits the bill. And I know people laughed at me when I was talking about it. This is 2 years ago.
The door is to do with necromancy. Well, one tie here could be rather to Hodor rather than to Dunk, if you're going to go with door things, right? The other world, underworld.
But I do like the theory that it is Dunk's foot that kicks the door down to get her out so she can give birth to Rhaegar. So, sure. I mean, what does that say?
Duncan means Dark Chief Warrior. Well, and it could be that he actually grabs Rhaegar and gets him out, because get him, he's right there. Get him, he's right there. Right. That's the thing. That's the egg. Yeah. That's what keeps being. So the idea that Egg guides Dunk to save Rhaegar.
Now he says that in the novella, but I can't remember. I remember him saying, "Get up, get up."
Get up. They had him say kill him, and it is true. He actually says kill him. He's right there in the first one. So
yeah, in the first joust when he gets the horse and everything, but he doesn't say it when Dunk's fighting.
He says kill him. He's right there. He just says kill him. They don't do the he's right there line in the show, unfortunately.
Right. I wonder why they removed that. I wonder if George asked them to, or there's a reason why, or they just overlooked it, or
well, and that does make me think that George may be rethinking how Summerhall actually goes. Right? I mean, he always leaves his options open, and so it may be that dream is no longer prophetic, essentially.
Well, I mean, with HBO wanting like the theory is the first 3 novellas are the first 3 seasons, then there's an age or time gap. So we get an older Egg. George is looking ahead on, okay, they want storylines for this and this. They want the She-Wolves of Winterfell, whatever he does. I mean, they got to show him basically all over the 7 kingdoms. And I don't remember how old Egg was when he became king, but I'm assuming HBO wants to take it to that point.
Oh, wait a minute. So while we're being told that no, this is a good point. So while we're being told that they're doing the 3 stories, we know that there's at least the Dornish adventure between the first one and the second one, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And so they may tell us that story through flashback, as they've been doing flashbacks in this show,
because the novellas aren't long enough.
Yeah, we may actually
they have to put filler.
Yeah, so we may actually get the Dornish adventure essentially, right? As or at least enough of it to kind of understand what happened in it.
Right. Yeah. I think. Well, I mean, there's not. I mean, this episode had probably the longest flashback, but if you take every little flashback,
it could be enough to actually tell you a story, and it could be a short story, but it could be that George gives them well, here's roughly what happened in the Dornish adventure, and that we may actually get to see what the Dornish adventure was.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, like even when you add in the time, like the master of the games coming to find Dunk, and them walking, and them talking about picking this person to joust against, you'll get the. I mean, that scene was stretched out. I don't think it's in the original novella, but I mean,
there's a lot of stuff here that's fleshed out.
So you take all the filler that they put in season 1, the amount of time that those fillers add up to be. That would be plenty of time for a Dornish flashback in season 2 for sure.
Yeah. And that fever, but that dream, it's not really, I don't know if it counts as a fever dream or not. Maybe it doesn't. That somewhat prophetic dream is also about them having to bury one of the horses, isn't it? So
yeah, was it thunder?
I don't know.
No.
If I look for Sand and Spade in the Sword Shield, Sword rather. Sand Spade, and I'll get enough of it to. Yep, the no stars fell tonight. There were red mountains in the distance and white sands beneath his feet. Dunk was digging, plunging a spade into the dry, hot earth, flinging the fine sand back over his shoulder. He was making a hole, a grave, he thought, a grave for hope. A trio of Dornish knights stood watching, making mock of him in quiet voices. Farther off, the merchants waited with their mules and wains and sand sledges. They wanted to be off, but he could not leave until he buried Chestnut. Okay.
Chestnut. Okay.
He would not leave his old friend of the snakes and scorpions and sand dogs. So yeah, it's Chestnut.
Okay.
Anyway, so anyway, yeah. So we've said what I thought, that the elm tree is the tree of the underworld. Okay. We said what I thought the happened at Summerhall, and we've said basically what you thought happened at Summerhall, and we were mostly in agreement, right? We were thinking that Dunk's foot had somehow saved Rhaegar, right? And that I think you probably agree with me that he at least George had been thinking Gedimi's right there was probably like saving Rhaegar, right?
Right.
Now, the fact that he seems like maybe he's changed things, and he's not willing to commit to Egg even dying there.
Well, I mean, we've always said in George's world, unless you see it on the page by a reliable person,
he likes the theories of people surviving these things and stuff too. I think he doesn't want to
well,
continue
that's the
stepping
thing
yet.
about this too. If House Targaryen or the Valerians in particular are their bloodline is tied to the Empire of the Dawn, where kings reigned for thousands of years, or the offspring of the original, each one reigned for 1,000 years, and each one's probably less than or something. I can't remember what the wording is. If that aspect of their bloodline is activated, how do they age? Does it extend just like it did with Maester Aemon at the wall, the very powerful magic source? I mean, if that part and his blood probably wasn't even activated, you know what I mean? Because he didn't act like the blood of the dragon. He acted like a maester the entire time he was there.
Over mankind, passed to his eldest son, who was known as the Pearl Emperor, and ruled for 1,000 years. The Jade Emperor, the Tourmaline Emperor, the Onyx Emperor, the Topaz Emperor, and the Opal Emperor followed in turn, each reigning for centuries. Yet every reign was shorter and more troubled than the one preceding it. For wild men and baneful beasts pressed at the border of the great empire, lesser kings grew prideful and rebellious, and the common people gave themselves over to avarice, envy, lust, murder, incest, gluttony, and sloth. Yeah, 7. Okay. Just making sure it was all 7.
There you go.
I think that may actually be the actual 7 deadly sins. I'm not 100% certain that that's the exact same list, but
Shazam.
It is.
Captain Marvel Shazam should be showing up any second then.
The Opal Emperor succeeded him as the Amethyst Empress. Her envious younger brother cast her down and slew her, proclaiming himself the Bloodstone Emperor and beginning a reign of terror. He practiced dark arts, torture, and necromancy, enslaved his people, took a tiger woman for his bride, feasted on human flesh, and cast down the true gods to worship a black stone that had fallen from the sky. Many scholars count the Bloodstone Emperor as the first high priest of the sinister Church of Starry Wisdom, which persists to this day in many port cities throughout the known world. In the annals of the further east, it was the blood betrayal, as his usurpation became, ushered in the age of darkness called the Long Night. Despairing of the evil that he had unleashed on earth, the maid of light turned her back upon the world. The Lion of Night came forth in all his wrath to punish the wickedness of men. Anyway. I knew it was easy to find because you just search for Amethyst Empress, and there it is.
Yeah.
Anyway, since I had to search up, I figured why not.
I'm getting destroyed by a German Shepherd, Lab, puppy, and a Chihuahua. They're not cooperating.
So we went through all of I think we've probably done enough with Summer Hall.
Right.
We do have more than 15 minutes. Do we want to do any more of the Myronese blot?
Yeah, you can.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. I mean, we'd have done that for sure to begin with, but the uproar over the comment
Yeah.
about Summer Hall kind of just
we wanted to talk about it.
We didn't go in giant depth on it or anything like that, but just touching on it was probably
it really if you just search for Decider Peter Dexter, that's probably good enough. Decider is the name of the original host channel that posted. I think it was also linked by like page 6 or somebody. But anyway, if you just do Decider Peter Dexter that in YouTube, that should get it. At least it will if it's if you do it reasonably recently to when it came up there. The Bible speaks of the devil getting a stronghold and not giving him a foothold. Foot means strong. Dunk's always referred to as strong. Night, dunk, dark fort, and his foothold. The night is dark. Some nights are dark and full of terrors. Anyway,
sure.
Yeah. So some of this series doesn't exactly translate to other languages due to the fact that some of it is English wordplay, right? Throwing this out here, Lady Thistle, could it be that Egg was going to sacrifice Rhaegar? Maybe Dunk saves him from them. The thing that sinks the realm is Dunk's willingness to defend the innocent above all else. I could see that. Yeah.
Mic drop. I like that a lot.
Definitely means strong. That's definitely true.
Oh my gosh. Kill me.
Yeah, and George likes conflict. And the idea that you've sworn your sword to someone, and then especially Lord Commander of Kingsguard, then you realize you have to go against them. That's like his favorite thing. His whole Faulkner said that the only thing worth writing about is the human heart in conflict with itself. Anyway.
Agreed.
I'll make a little progress in this part 2. I don't know that we're definitely not going to go through all part 2 of the Merides. Untangling the Merides not today, but this is the Merides blot on WordPress. This is one of the.
Oh my goodness! Egg would be like Stannis, willing to sacrifice his daughter if Stannis was there. Stannis probably isn't, but
I was thinking that too, as well as sacrificing Dunk. Oh yeah. That creates more of the parallel between Shireen and Devon, right? Or possibly Davos, right? We've been saying it's, or I've been saying anyway. I think you understand my theory here that really Davos or Devon is the one that should be killing Stannis, because. And then you kind of convinced me, actually, Devon makes a lot of sense, that because Davos really is the parallel of Tywin, and then Devon is his son, who's serving next to the king. And so Devon having to kill Stannis is similar to, and then that creates this nice parallel, because it's Jaime is the main character that these guys are paralleling. So then if Lord Commander Sir Duncan the Tall of the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard is another parallel figure of Jaime preventing the Mad King from his dragon explosion hatching, and then Dunk, and then and of course. I keep saying there's all these Richard III parallels. Stannis is definitely set up as Richard III. So is Egg. So Egg is doing reform. Egg is set up. Egg is the historical Richard III, whereas Stannis is kind of more of the fictional character from Shakespeare. But there's obviously some similarities between the two, because it's kind of framed being the history, right? So Egg's reforms, I'm convinced, are supposed to be the Richard III reforms. So, so what really happened with Richard III was that he was preventing the tyranny of the nobility on the commoners, and so all the people with power united and fought against him, and that's the whole "everyone will hate you" thing, the prophecy with Egg and so forth, right? And so the concept is, he needs the dragons because he knows he's going to lose power, because people aren't letting him, aren't satisfied with his reforms, and for him to keep his reforms to hold, he's going to need power, right?
Well, also at that, how old is Egg at Summerhall?
That is knowable. We have a timeline.
Should be like what, 80? Maybe younger.
So Egg, also knows Aegon the Targaryen, was carried during Summerhall. Tragic Summerhall is 259. So what age does that make him?
What year was he born?
What year is Seven Kingdoms versus 259 Summerhall? When does the Hedge Knight take place in Westeros? 209. Okay, so he's 10 in 209 is the theory,
right?
So he's 1 year older than. So he's 60. See, he's roughly right. He's running around 60.
Okay,
it was 259.
Well, he was 10. Dunk is like 18.
Mirrors Danny
17.
too. Dunk not realizing this is a baby sacrifice, etc. Except Dunk realizes at some point, goes with his slow to catch on nature. Yeah, absolutely. Right,
Without a doubt.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Nice thing.
And the sacrificing of Dunk himself, Dunk would, as a servant, would mirror Mirmaz Dur, because she was a servant.
Yeah, well, it goes to this. Okay,
Like
so,
they put her there because of betrayal, but it could be taking a servant into the afterlife.
this is right. This is right.
There might be a point to it.
Yeah,
like the Pharaohs taking their servants and
yeah.
mean
That's what Summerhall is. Absolutely. It's egg. Well, and Peter would seem to be, even with him saying egg trying to hatch dragons, which is clearly in the text. That's clearly what's going on, right? So here's what's going on. Egg is Richard III. He's doing the Richard III reforms. He knows that he can't hold power. He needs dragons. He realizes you have to sacrifice a Targaryen baby to get dragons back. He's had all the prophetic dreams and so forth, right? He knows he has as much knowledge. The knowledge is to him as it is to Danny, right? He is understanding what has to happen here. And so he's doing Summerhall. Dunk sees it and stops him, right? And we have all the, and I keep harping on the three parallels between the Mad King and Stannis, right? The Fire Sorcerer Advisor, right? And of course, Stannis is a Richard III character, obviously, right? And so, yeah, it's definitely okay. And I do like your interpretation. It's Devon, not Davos, that has to kill Stannis.
Right. Well, I mean, I still hold out in the back of my head and the back of my heart. But I'm leaning more toward your way that. But I still think it's Devon.
We are one man, horse, lance. We are one beast of blood and wood and iron. I think the metals, animals, and warrior champion with blooded wood tie into the sacrifice of possibly dragon creation.
Okay.
Danny's pyre, the horse too.
Okay.
Huh.
Well, see, that's like, I mean, if you look at, was it China? Some of the things that were found there with their soldiers being buried or entombed with them. So yeah, I still think that in the formula to have a dragon hatch with the horse, especially, you're taking a horse into the afterlife, you're taking a servant, no matter what that role of that servant was. It could have been somebody just washed your damn dishes. It's still a servant. The stronger the servant might mean, the better the chance the magic works. So, I mean, we always say there's two people playing the big giant game, Sivas game, in the clouds or wherever you want to look at it. However, one of them was on Egg's side or pushing Egg, giving him the dreams, what he needs to do, just like the dreams that were given to Danny or the information that was given to Danny. And they wanted those dragons hatched then. And then you had the forces on the other side of the table. They're like, oh, hell no, we ain't playing that game yet. And instead of going through the Targaryen bloodline, they went through a different bloodline, which might still have some Targaryen in it. That's the theory on Dunk. Go use Dunk to stop Egg on the board of Sivas, the giant game of the Game of Thrones that the big powers that be are playing. So I mean, I like the stop and think what the possibilities would have been if the person moving Aegon on the board would have won that little skirmish, that little battle for dragons to be hatched then. And then their next time possible after moving all the pieces on the table was Danny and her pyre to raise dragons then. So they didn't win at Summerhall, but they eventually got to the point where, okay, now we got dragons hatched. That was my big move up to this point, was to get dragons on the board. And we're told how to use your dragons when Tyrion is playing Cybass with the secret prince Aegon on the Shy Maid. So the dragons needed to be on this giant game of Cybass that's being played by these big people. So now they have
a dragon.
What's that?
And Marcella will ride a dragon. And Rhaegar used to lie under the stars playing his harp. Dunk was always under the stars. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mentioned. Yeah. It's definitely a throwback to Dunk being underneath the stars.
I'm definitely. You know, I mean, I've always been saying Stannis is set up to be like the Mad King. I didn't think about the fact that Egg is definitely set up to be like the Mad King, unfortunately, right? And it for good reason. He's trying to do the Richard III reforms. It's a good reason. Right. It's not good reason.
At 60 years old, if he sees any madness in his bloodline that's to take over after he dies, he's got to be thinking of his mortality. So to secure House Targaryen, the dragons were needed. In this world, especially, even if you have maesters waiting on you hand and foot, living past 60 was not a guarantee.
Sure.
So I mean, look how many Targaryens got wiped out in the what do they call it? The
spring sickness.
Spring fever, 2 years or whatever it took to kill a lot of the Targaryens to get them out of the way of Egg. Egg was the one that was needed. The rest of them were just taken off the board. And they might have been. And see, here's the thing: when you're playing Cybass, and you got all these Targaryens on the board, and you don't want any of them. You want the one that's toward the end, the very last of the last brother. That's the one you want, and you're letting your opponent kill Targaryens left and right, and he's thinking that he's winning, that he's getting all the stuff that he wants done, and this guy's over there just sitting there like, you're doing all my work for me. You're taking out all those Targaryens to get to the one that I want. And then there's also the messing with the mind to make sure that it wasn't Aemon that got picked or anything like that, to make sure that it was Egg that became king. But all those other Targaryens that got taken out, especially in the show you just watched, the main one, the first domino to go to start getting all the rest of the dominoes off the board to get Egg there. And like in the books, his brother does not remember the blow that killed, because he wasn't in charge at that moment. Somebody else was moving that arm. Just like there's a lot of things Ned can't remember at Tower of Joy, is because there was something meddling with his mind on that battlefield on 7-on-7. The blow that hit the back of Baelor's head, his brother did not strike the blow, even though the body did. So that's why he does not remember it. Somebody else was pulling the strings at the moment.
Okay. If you follow the etymology of Dunk instead of Duncan, you can find your way to a word that means to seem to appear. And I kind of love that word, mysterious.
Okay.
He says Dunk went into Rhaegar when he was born, and Rhaegar shares parallels with the devil. Oh.
Okay.
Interesting. About that one. Anyway. Oh. Anything?
Yeah,
we're at 1 minute too. You want to wrap up?
Yeah, I can't stay over too long because my wife's done called him 3 times. I hit declined all 3 times.
Uh-oh. we better wrap up.
She knew I had a live stream today. It'll be all right. She put a text that showed up at the top of the screen. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was good to talk about Summerhall. Get off of some of the other stuff we've been talking about for a minute, just to spread our wings on something different.
As a king in Macbeth, Doug also shares parallels with Pinocchio becoming a real boy, real knight. Okay, I can see that.
But here's the thing: Dunk was never knighted the entire time that he's been a knight, from beginning to end, which will parallel Brienne, and it also, oh damn it was on the tip of my tongue. The Hound. The Hound will refuse to be knighted. Dunk was never knighted, and I think they're going to the Hound story is going to start paralleling Dunk's story, as long with Brienne, of course, because she's of the blood. And there's still a possibility that the house Gregor and his brother Sandor are maybe. I think Dunk spread his seed like Johnny Appleseed through the Seven Kingdoms on his rounds with Egg, and I think that might be one of the reasons why George wrote the novella, to see where Dunk spread his seed, to then filter down to characters that we're reading about currently. Be like, oh, okay, that's where they got the bloodline to create the giant, the mountain, and then.
Oh, and yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to look for see if George decides to put any more Pycelle useless things in there. Parallels. Anyway, oh, that's sick.
All right.
Puppet tie with the Children of the Force thing. All right, well, let's wrap up.
Okay, yeah, I got to go. I got to call my wife, find out why I'm in trouble. Tomorrow, I forget who the chapter is.
Back to Tyrion, I believe.
Okay, yeah, Tyrion 2.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Tomorrow, thank y'all for joining us for Theory Hour. Tomorrow is Tyrion 2, Dance with Dragons. Thanks again for joining us for the rare Thursday edition of Theory Hour. Y'all have fun, take care, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye. Bye, Richard.